Hello, and welcome everybody out. I am almost brain dead inside right now from all the work I've done today, but we're going to still pull off a Game of the Month discussion because I may have gone a little insane, but that's alright. But joining me today, we have the one and only SMWiz once again, and today we are discussing Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System or Super Famicom, depending on where you live in the world. But one of the last Super Nintendo releases, really, before N64 properly took over. And quite an interesting one at that. So, Wiz, thank you again for joining me here today. Really appreciate it.
Happy to. I mean, always happy to support, but also this game especially is near and dear to me.
Love it. So, before we dive in, Wiz, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 32 for me, if you would.
Let's go with 23.
23. All right, so that would be DJ Femur, winner of our $25 digital gift card for the month of January. Congrats, DJ Femur. I'll be emailing you shortly to ask you what you would like to receive.
Nice.
Anyway. Super Mario World 2. I remember being so excited about this one because Super Mario World was like the first game for me that like really got me just to absolutely love gaming. So Super Mario World 2, was very excited about it. I remember reading all the magazine articles about it, marveling at the art style and all kinds of other things, and just showing it off to people any chance I got with the magazine, be like, look at this game! But what was your lead up to Super Mario World 2? Because we all know I'm psycho, so that's okay.
For us, it was that our grandparents got us a Super Nintendo, and actually pretty late in the Super Nintendo's life cycle. So ours came bundled with the All-Stars.
Oh, very cool.
And I didn't actually own a copy of Super Mario World until recent years. But we rented Yoshi's Island and then rented it enough times that my parents decided to buy it. And
Yes.
so it was one of the few titles that we actually owned, which meant that we played it an awful lot.
Oh, for sure. So I think I beat this game maybe once or twice when it was new, and then I have never finished another playthrough since then until Game of the Month, and I still didn't actually finish it. I'm like 4 levels off, sadly. But like replaying it was really interesting for me, just going back and seeing how it was. And I gotta say, I do really appreciate kind of how much more streamlined the game is compared to Super Mario World 1. Like, you don't have to hold a run button, it's all automatic, but you have all kinds of other tech that you get to explore with the game to kind of offset that. Like, Super Mario World's biggest thing was its movement tech, and this game, it's your egg tech and different abilities as well, transformations. So it was just such an interesting change of pace, and kind of reminded me just like how sequels were back on the NES. Like, it's kind of a different thing altogether. And of course, it went on to spawn its own Yoshi franchise, so I guess technically it was.
Yeah, I think in Japan it was its own thing. I don't think it was called Super Mario World 2 in Japan.
Oh,
I think that
really?
was a name that was just appended for the US.
Huh. I think I need to go look this up now because, like I said, I'm not
I
the
was like,
most
I'll ask
knowledgeable
just
about
that.
this
That's
one.
something that another person told me, and I trusted them.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I want to go look this up after this recording, because if it's just Yoshi's Island, like, that would be super cool to see. Kind of like how Super Mario World was Super Mario Bros. 4 in Japan, but here it was just Super Mario World. And so then you have everyone be like, what if they release Super Mario Bros. 4? And it's like, they already did. It's
Like,
called Super
what if
Mario
Zelda was
World.
a girl?
Oh, man. But anyways, so one of the things that I've always found fascinating about this game was that you can kind of see this pre-rendered cutscene kind of happening right here, where Yoshi looks like a
Hmm.
pre-rendered CGI model. And Nintendo wanted the game to be completely in that art style. And the developers essentially just said, nah, screw that. We are doing this. And made the game just this awesome, beautiful, colorful world. Like, this is probably one of, like, the most beautiful Super Nintendo games, in my opinion.
Oh, it's visually stunning.
Oh, yeah. It was Miyamoto, right, that did this one? He was the one's like, no, we're not doing pre-rendered, like, because of how successful Donkey Kong Country was. For anyone that doesn't know, like, Donkey Kong used the pre-rendered sprites, and they wanted to have pretty much any game that was coming out after that to do that, to kind of build up to the N64, because 2D bad once 3D gaming came in. So that's why we saw a number of interesting art style choices and game cancellations, like Star Fox 2, actually. Star Fox 2 didn't run well enough, so they're just like, nah, no one's going to want to play that. Look at it compared to PlayStation. It's bad. But I'm personally really happy they just said screw the Donkey Kong Country art style and went with this, like, gorgeous world, just because I think it holds up so much better today than Donkey Kong Country in every sense of the imagination. Honestly, controls, gameplay, art.
That's how you really feel about Donkey Kong.
I don't like Donkey Kong Country. I'm sorry. I don't think it was that well made of a game. Like, it was a technical showpiece for its time, sure, but I don't think it holds up at all. And I'm gonna get roasted in the comments for that, and I'm okay with that. I was
literally about to say, let Ice know in the comments below what you think of that take.
Oh man, they need to see the retro review I wrote for Donkey Kong Country back in like 2016 when I was still doing the weekly retro reviews. I did that one as a backer retro review, so only like 3 people ever saw it. I thought about making a video for it, I just never got around to it, and I don't want to replay Donkey Kong Country to get the footage to do it. Oh man, I'll have to post it on Discord and be like, bam, there you go. Here's everybody. Just everyone could hate on my thoughts. I did that the other day. Someone posted about Banjo-Kazooie, and I was like, it was about how Nick Offerman quit gaming after Banjo-Kazooie. And so I replied to someone being like, I almost quit gaming after Banjo-Kazooie too, but for very different reasons. And everyone's like, wait, what? Anyway, off topic, but that's okay with me. But anyway, Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, visually stunning. I agree. I'm glad that we have what we have. Like, and that's not to, knock the graphics for the opening cutscene. But I imagine it would have been a very different game. Stylized like that, would have taken up more memory and given us less opportunity for the number of levels we got and probably the complexity or duration of the levels.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are a few of those levels that run a little long and could have, afforded to have been shorter, but
yeah.
I mean, overall, I'm very happy with the package we got.
Yeah, I like that this is the type of game where you can kind of blow through it rather quickly if you're trying to hurry, versus 100%ing every level and it taking a long time. So there's 6 worlds in this game with 8 levels each, so 48 levels total. So I look at it on a surface level and be like, oh, it's only 48 levels versus the 96 in Super Mario World. But it's like, Super Mario World, you had to play the same level like 3 times to get the secret exit sometimes. So it's not really 96 levels. And this game definitely feels so much longer than Super Mario World in every regard too, which I, again, can appreciate for when you're in the mood to do all the collectibles, get all the stars, the red coins, the flowers, or when you just want to do the platform, you're like, bam, I'm going through, and it's like, all right, cool. You can go back and try that again later. Like, it gives you those choices on how you want to approach it, and that's one of the things I think I really appreciated about it in this playthrough through January, because the first stream I did was 100%ing it all as best I could, and I barely got anywhere. And then the second stream I did was, all right, let's blow through this, and I got through 4 worlds and made it almost to the last boss, and I was like, all right, cool. Not winning any points for completion, but we're experiencing it. And
yeah, you talk about the 48 levels, but that doesn't include the bonus ones that you unlock for 100%ing worlds, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Because,
I didn't even think about that.
but I mean, talk about, Nintendo starting the double-edged sword for completionists. And I say
Yes.
starting because I don't know which other game they may have done before this that punished you for completing a game. Like as we talk in modern times, the one that comes to mind typically is Breath of the Wild when you get all the
Oh,
Korok seeds.
no. It's
Yeah, and we don't need to get into that. People can Google it if they don't know what you get, and that
golden
might be a little
poop.
bit better of a surprise.
Spoiler alert. Golden poop.
Yep, you get a poop. That's literally what Nintendo gives you, a poop for completing the game.
Such a big
For,
giant
for,
middle
for
finger. Holy crap.
yeah. Well, then again, I mean, these stages. So if you 100% it, and it's funny because I kind of get it a little bit, but the stages are like worlds apart when it comes to difficulty. Like, and so it's like it's not something that a little kid would ever get to experience. And it was funny because as a kid that bothered me, knowing that there were more levels in the game that I couldn't play. But at that age, I wasn't good enough to 100% it.
Mm.
And then I got older and I could 100% it, and I started to play these levels, and I was like, this is what I worked for. Like I love
So,
the I love,
yeah.
and I think Nintendo encapsulates it perfectly with the very first one. The very first bonus world or level is called Poochie Isn't Stupid. And it's a Poochie level. And Poochie's very stupid and he will kill you over and over and over again.
I
They knew
remember you streaming
exactly
that
what
one.
they knew exactly what they were doing.
So it's funny you mentioned that a kid would never unlock these levels. I never unlocked them, so I didn't even know about them until recently. I thought it was just the six and done. So that's a very good point. Like I think I made it about 30, 40%, 100%ing it back in the day. And yeah, Poochie's a good boy. Poochie is not stupid.
We love Poochie in the regular levels, but in the bonus levels, it's Nintendo was like, let's separate the gamers from the children.
Oh man. There's some interesting references in this game. Like let's just get that out of the way real quick. Like we've got
Touch fuzzy, get
child
busy.
abduction, we've got
Yeah.
murder, we've got drug abuse.
Mhm.
Like what isn't in this game? Like this game should not be rated E, like or KA or whatever it was rated back in the day. This is a hard M game, man. Like
Yeah. Yeah. It's Super Nintendo was KA, and then the re-release on Game Boy Advance would have been rated E.
oh man, it's hard M. That drug references alone, man. That's a hard M. This
I,
game's hardcore. Like you just get stoned and you just have no idea what's going
it,
on anymore.
that's actually the trick. People always make fun of Nintendo for being the family-friendly company. It's a ruse. It's so they can put out M-rated games, but just slap Nintendo's name on it, and the ESCRB will just be like, "Yeah, it's E, whatever." Don't even look at it. Rubber stamp it and send it through.
It's kind of true. I mean, look at what
I mean,
happened
look,
with
Ocarina of
yeah,
Time.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like you have red blood and like you're stabbing things. It's all
Well, and what was that abomination creature that was like hunched over with the gnarly face and all the hands that come out of the ground?
oh, dude,
That
that
mini
thing was
boss.
horrifying.
Yeah, E for everyone. And then that's before you start talking about too, like the redeads and stuff.
Oh yeah, I would have been okay if Ocarina of Time was T. Like they didn't
Yeah,
have E10 back then. Like it would have
nope.
been a T game. And then Majora's Mask too. Like that game had super dark themes in it. E
Hmm.
okay. I remember playing through that game when it came out. I was in just starting up high school, and I was just like, dude, this game's friggin' dark. Like,
It's
what is
like
happening?
like the first time you go through any of those transformations, the scream he does,
Oh my gosh, yes, yes.
it's like you're taking a dead person's face and putting it on your face. It's like pretty sure we have a movie with Anthony Hopkins related to that.
Ain't that the truth? But yeah, anyway, so
Anyways,
Yoshi's
I was gonna
Island,
say, yeah,
that
some
really
some
started
funny
that
elements.
trend of hiding some really inappropriate stuff in here. Well, I mean, at least that I really first began noticing it in. It's like, oh man, I'm doing drugs here. Like, I'm tripping. Yoshi's eyes are like, even like, it's like, dude.
You stumble and stagger. You can't stand still. Like, you touch Fuzzy, you get dizzy, you stagger and stumble. It's impossible to just stand still.
Yeah, you go all over the place. You're totally stoned.
Yeah.
And then that leads credence to what are the actual transformations that are happening when you, like, touch the helicopter and the car and all these other things. Like, is that just a hallucination of Yoshi's mind from doing these drugs? Like, is Baby Mario even real? Is any of it even real? Or is it just all one big Yoshi drug party that's going on here? Like, we can't take anything this game says seriously anymore. And I mean, how jacked up is Yoshi going around, like, slapping children with eggs? Like, poor baby Bowser, like, he just wants to play, and Yoshi's just sitting there pegging him in the face with eggs. Like, what the heck is that about? Now we know why Mario's such a sociopath. He grew up watching Yoshi just doing drugs and murdering people. Like, no wonder Mario goes to the Mushroom Kingdom and is like, oh, all the people are turned into blocks. Let's smash as many blocks as we can.
Well, and it puts a new spin on, Mario dumping Yoshi in the pit, right?
That's true, too. He's like, you were a terrible dad.
Or, punching Yoshi in the back of the head.
Go faster, Dad. Like, that's the whole other thing, too. Like, Yoshi's totally Mario's dad after this adventure. Like, he goes to go and live with whoever he was living with, but it's like, his first paternal figure is a freaking psycho dinosaur that's doing drugs and murdering people.
So it's a whole tribe of them, because remember, at the end of every level, you get passed off to a different Yoshi.
You get passed on? That's
every
true.
level's a different Yoshi. You're not just with one Yoshi throughout the game.
It's true. I kind of wish they had randomized the colors a little bit more, instead of it always being you go into a castle with the same one, because it's like, that poor Yoshi chose the wrong jobs. Like, I'll take him 8th. Like, dude, you get him in every castle, man. Like, alright.
Yeah, which back to that point of 100%ing, like, dude, 100%ing the castles is brutal.
Oh, man.
Because, there's nothing more soul-crushing than getting to the boss with the 100 and then, like, getting just nicked on the last hit or whatever.
Yup. That was what was happening to me with the retro achievements, too, as I was going through it on the streams. It's like, alright, beat this boss without taking a hit. And it's like, alright, I could do that. And then I just forget to jump one time. It's like, beep. I'm like, dang it!
Yeah, like, the one I remember, because I watched you while you were streaming it, the fight with the Boo, and you got nailed by one of the birds on the last hit.
Yep. That one was unfortunate. Oh, well. I'll go back through and do it eventually. We gotta finish up the game. But,
some of those bosses...
I can't get over just Yoshi just being a maniac drug dealer, like drug user. Like, I can't move past that.
I mean, we're just continuing we're just continuing the lore of how messed up the Mario universe is. When you think about go all the way back to Donkey Kong when he was Jumpman, okay? He abused Donkey Kong, and so Donkey Kong broke out and went on a rampage and kidnapped his girlfriend.
It's true. It's true.
Donkey Kong 2, Mario, Jumpman's back to abusing him, so Donkey Kong Jr. has to go and save his dad from the animal abuser. Super Mario World. And even Super Mario Brothers, the arcade game. We're jumping on turtles and punching crabs and just beating up on animals. Super Mario Brothers continuing to abuse animals, but now, King Koopa with his, magic has converted the citizens into blocks, and we're breaking them just cuz.
Because we like to commit mass murder on a wide scale as Mario. Like, I'm sorry, Mario's like one of the most sociopathic characters in all of gaming.
We're gonna go karting. That's fun, right? Well, now we're adding weapons to it.
We're gonna try to kill each other while we race.
Yeah. So, this is just in keeping with the overall lore, the vibe of the Mario universe.
It's true. It just shows why he became the way he did. It's all due to his upbringing from the rampaging drug addict dinosaurs. That's why he likes shrooms so much. Like, it makes sense. I can't. I just can't. Anyway, back to the bosses, like you were saying before. Like, how cool are the boss fights in this game, though? Like, trying to stay back on topic, diverging from my sociopathic dinosaur rant.
The bosses are really interesting, and it's funny because some of them are really fun to fight. You know,
Yeah,
like the one with the is it Raphael, where you have to pound the stakes on the moon to hit him from the underside.
Yep.
Or even how you have to deal with Bert the Bashful bouncing around, hitting him.
Dude, we didn't even talk about the fact that Yoshi's stripping people. Like
he pants him.
He's pantsing him. He's just abusing him like that. Like it's like a freaking middle school locker room there, just ripping his underwear off. Like, what the heck?
Yep. And I forget the one.
I like the
one
Piranha
of the
Plant
metal
one.
walking guys, and you have to break the floor tiles under him.
Oh yeah.
That's a fun fight. I like that one.
That one was really fun. The Piranha Plant, where you have to ricochet the egg out and bounce it into his nasty belly button. Like, I really enjoy that one.
Oh man, that's one of those things, kind of like the water temple, where as a kid you hate it because you can't figure it out, and then as an adult it's really easy.
Yeah.
That one stumped us for a long time as kids, trying to figure out what to do with that, because we were, of course, just shooting them at the piranha head, and
nothing was happening.
Nothing's happening.
I think I figured that one out by accident as a kid. Like, I think I just hit it too low, and it just went...
And I think that's how we figured it out eventually, because we just kind of raged, and we just, like, rapid-fired all 6 eggs, and one of them hit him, and we're like, wait, why was that different?
Yep. And, I mean, they try to explain it throughout the level. Like, they show all the different things you could do with ricocheting throughout that castle. So, I mean, the hints are there for you to pick up on. It's just if you're going to pick up on them or not. Like, if you're a kid, it's a little bit more difficult.
And when you're a kid, it's like that arrow's not a hint. It's just telling you what to do.
Yeah, it's where to go.
And the boss fight doesn't tell you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I do love that. Again, it's part of this game's tech. Like, I love the egg mechanic in this game so much. It's probably my favorite aspect about it. The transformations were interesting. The Super Mario little transformation was interesting, but it's really the egg mechanics that just really made this game for me. And especially in this replay, I still just really enjoy the egg mechanics. And then Yoshi, being a psychopath, abducts little baby birds and throws them at things, and then they come right back to you because they don't know what else to do. So that was weird, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about, the Yoshi Demented, I wasn't planning on talking about this originally because I thought it might be too messed up, but we've gone everywhere with this conversation. The level, I want to say, is it 4-1 or 4-2, where you have all the monkeys in the jungle?
Oh, dude, and screw those monkeys.
Dude, see, that's what everyone said. Dude. That's what everyone said, but the thing was that's actually like my favorite level, and me and my brothers played that one a ton, because for us, it was, like a guerrilla warfare level, because you all have watermelons, which are, in essence, machine guns.
Yep.
And, they're just leaping out of you from everywhere. And so, like, for us, it was, fun to get through that level and take out every single monkey. Not letting them escape up the vines, not letting them swim away. It's like they all got to be turned into eggs.
Yep. They're all dying. This is scorched earth. The monkeys are going down.
It's like if they had just lived in peace with us, we could have lived peacefully, but they fired on us, and so now we're enemies.
They chose death.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
But yeah, to that point, like it is an interesting game with like a lot of mechanics. Yeah, and the egg being the primary crux of that, especially, just with all the bouncing too, but also that you can get the different types of eggs,
Yes.
The giant egg is hilarious, but I mean, like even the red and yellows to help yourself, get that 100% when you've made a small mistake, Yep.
Then there was the eggs that had the red coins in them too that you had to find.
Yep. The flutter mechanic, actually, I like a lot too, and that's a departure, and I mean, and eventually becomes a staple now for how Yoshi behaves in games.
This is where it was introduced too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing is like
it became his thing.
Yeah, because he didn't do that in Super Mario World.
Nah, he
you
wouldn't
know?
have been killed as many times if he had. That's why they added it. They didn't want people to kill him off so much.
Yeah. So, and then it's interesting. It's cool. It's it introduced the staple, the character that just permeates throughout subsequent titles,
To
and
this
then
day.
also spin-offs. Like being able to flutter in New Super Mario Brothers or in Smash Brothers and things like that. So
Yep. To this
yeah,
day.
as for some of the other stuff, like I like most of the transformations. I think the only one that I genuinely dislike is the mole tank, just
Yeah.
because the controls are clunky.
It's
And
not
because
as good as you'd hope it would be,
you
but
you only get a few seconds with it, and it's just not enough time every time you get it to
yeah.
remember how it works.
The train one was weird in the few times you have to use it too.
Yeah,
Like, it's not really a main use power up. I think you only had to use it like 1 or 2 times to get through the actual game, and then all the other times it's like to get the optional stuff. And yeah, it's just kind of an oddball one. The car was
yeah.
fun,
The car's
like going
fun.
up
The
on your wheels.
helicopter's fun too.
Yeah, helicopter. But yeah, the mole tank. It's like I didn't have problems getting where I wanted to go, but I'd end up going backwards to do it.
Yep.
And it's like, why am I going backwards by pushing the button
Or
towards
flipping
that?
upside down, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't understand half the movement it's doing.
Nah. It was interesting. But I can honestly say throughout this newest playthrough, there was only like 2 levels that I genuinely didn't enjoy playing. And I can't even remember what one of them is now, so it wasn't that traumatizing to say the least. But it was one of the castle where you have to get the 4 keys.
Yes.
And I would try to jump on the stupid spinning arrow to make it go somewhere, and I would just fall through the dumb thing. And I was like, that
It
bugs
is.
me. Like, the
It's
collision
very
detection on that
specific about
thing
how it wants
is
you to land on it. It's frustrating.
so annoying. Like, you'll just fall right through it, and it's like, give me a break. And you don't get any checkpoints after the first key, so you have to do all 3 of the other ones back to back to back to keep going. And it's like, that's fine when you don't have to deal with jank hit detection. But I mean, outside of that, there was nothing in this game that really made me not want to play it. It's like that one level was super annoying, but then the rest of it was so enjoyable. Like, even now, like, this game holds up so incredibly well and is so worth playing because just beautiful art style, great controls, fun mechanics, getting to make fun of Yoshi for being a drugged out psychopath who's going to war against monkeys and abducting children. So, I mean, you just get this full spectrum of really ridiculousness, and it's great. It's so great. And you can play this on practically everything now because it's on Nintendo Switch Online. It's been on the virtual consoles. The Game Boy Advance port that actually kind of butchered the colors a little bit, but I mean, it's still pretty faithful gameplay-wise, and I remember really liking being able to shoot with the R button on the Game Boy Advance version over
Yeah.
the A button. So, or was it L? I don't even know. One of the shoulder buttons did it, and it was really cool. So, I mean, there's just no shortcomings on how you can enjoy this game. Emulation, even. I mean, that's how I did it. I dumped my Super Nintendo copy and was playing it on the emulator. So, like, it's still very accessible, and that's just one of the greatest things about it. And being able to talk about it here is, like, you can go and play it and see what we're talking about with Yoshi being a drugged out maniac.
Yep. I think it was also included in the Super Nintendo Classic, right? The SNES Classic, I think,
Yes, I
had
think
it on there.
so. I think you are correct, and I was really excited about it because that meant that there were Super FX2 emulation games being done. Oh, that's right. This game wasn't on the Virtual Console because of it being Super FX2. They used the Game Boy Advance version for the Wii U Virtual Console. Like, that's right. I just remembered that, and how the Super Nintendo Classic was a big deal because they finally were doing the Super FX2 version. So, yes. Yes, that's right. Game's too advanced for us to emulate on the Wii and the Wii U. Can't do it. Can't do it. I mean, the Wii didn't get any Super FX games on it for the Virtual Console, if I remember correctly. I not sure if the Wii U did either. I need to go look at the lists. So, like... Anyway, random tangent. Again, I'm a little brain dead after everything I've already done today, so this one's a little more out there, if you couldn't tell from all the talk thus far.
It's fun, and Yoshi's getting his due.
It's true.
We're assaulting his character, but praising his game, so, it's okay.
Is this where the Yoshi is a tax evader meme came from? From him being just like a friggin' psychopath drug lord, and now he's not paying his taxes either? Like, is that where this comes from? Like, it's all starting to connect in my head now, and I don't even know. Like, I'm a little scared of where this is going. Like, Yoshi appearing on top of Peach's castle in Super Mario 64 now is like kind of a scary thought. It's like, why is this drug lord just hanging out on top of my castle, giving me 100 mushrooms after I beat the game? Like, he's giving me 100 mushrooms, and they're green. We know we're getting a good time with this. Like, you go up to the top and visit your drug dealer. Oh, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. I can't. Oh, man. So, I think that I should be safe here and just summarize my thoughts on this game. Definitely go out and play it because it's really fun. It's just a very well-made game. Still holds up beautifully with its art assets, its gameplay. There's a couple levels that feel kind of cheap, but otherwise, like, it's a pretty fair game. Mario, when you lose him, can be super annoying, so just get good so you never lose him and have to listen to him cry. Like, that's just the secret there. Just get good. Yeah, you gotta love when people just say that, right?
Practice.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, even if you're first time playing this game, there's really not a whole lot of memorization needed to get through things. It can be pretty reactionary, which is great. I hate games that instantly kill you just so you have to memorize a pattern. I definitely prefer a more reactionary type of a game like this. The skiing part would probably be one of the most memorization heavy parts of the game, but even that can still be pretty reactionary. So, I don't know. I consider this to be just one of the absolute best Super Nintendo games ever released, and I'm just gonna leave it there with my thoughts. Yoshi's a drug dealer. Got it.
Yeah, I think this is an absolute must play, and to your point, it's so accessible and easy to find a way to play it, especially if you've already got, a Nintendo Switch and you have the online membership. It's there in the Super Nintendo bundle, just waiting to be played. And you can even do save states in it if you're trying to get the 100%. No more getting knocked out at the bosses with stars.
Good point.
You can, get outside the boss door, save state, and play as many times as you need if you want to unlock those levels that are totally worth it for 100%ing worlds.
Poochie is not
stupid.
Poochie
is not stupid, okay? Nintendo really wants you to know that. But yeah, beautiful art style. We didn't talk about the music, but like great soundtrack, I think, for this game. Wonderful soundtrack.
Gets a little repetitive at times, but I mean, it's still so good. It doesn't really matter a whole lot.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's absolutely worth playing.
Oh yeah. Hard agree. But anything else you wanted to discuss about the game, Wiz? I kind of went off on this tangent, and I can't rein it back in now. So if you want to just throw in a couple more thoughts there before we call it, like, have at.
I mean, the only thing I'll also point out, I think that we haven't talked about that someone in the comments will call out if we don't, was the actually two things: the inclusion of items. So you had an inventory that you could open up, like you had in Mario Brothers 3, except you could do it mid-level instead of at the world select.
That's true.
So that was cool. And then the other thing was mini games. Being able to play mini games sometimes in the level, and then other times after a level when you got lucky and the roulette landed on a flower. So
that's true.
That was cool.
Another cool thing about the mini games is you could do a button combo to make them 2-player, if I remember correctly, on the Super Nintendo version. So.
Yep. So you could do versus in the mini games against a second player.
Yep.
Which for the watermelon seed spit was pretty fun.
Yes. Got to go to war against against the fam instead of the monkeys.
Yep. Or,
Oh, man.
see who could be a jerk with the balloon toss. Game of chicken. Let the
That's
balloon get as big
true.
as it can before you try to, do like a 6-button input and pass it over.
That's true. Yeah, those were fun mini games. They were enjoyable. Um, oh yeah, we didn't even talk about how like the bonus games that you get the flowers are usually just like lotto scratch games.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like now
Yoshi
he's
Yoshi does scratch your lotto
so now
tickets.
he's a drug addict, a drug dealer, a child abductor, a murderer, um, animal abuser, and he just goes out and buys lottery tickets every Friday. Just got a winner here, Yoshi. Like you win. You're just the deadbeat dad like spitting image here. Apparently, like that's great stuff. Okay, I need to stop. I gotta stop.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh
in
no.
any case, this game was good enough that, even though it was branded as, like a sequel, to Mario World in the US, like it did spin up a whole nother series. Like this is now its own IP. We had sequel games on the N64, the DS, the 3DS, the Wii U, and the Switch.
Yep. To be fair, Yoshi's Story is kind of a meh
Trash.
meh game by every stretch of the
Yeah, don't
imagination,
don't don't play the N64 one. Play any of the others.
which was really disappointing because I was really excited for that game because of this, and it was just
Oh,
it
us
was not a good time.
us too. We rented Yoshi's Story on the N64, thinking it was going to be the first of many times until we just bought it, and then we shockingly beat it in like a day, and we're like, oh,
I didn't
that
even beat
that
it. I quit. I was like, I'm done. I don't like this.
we weren't really having fun with it, I think, but it was just, again, that we didn't have the money for buying things, and so we rented it, and so we needed to get our money's worth out of
Oh,
that.
for sure. All right. Yes, Yoshi's Story not good. Sorry
No,
to all Yoshi Story fans. Like, enjoy
no,
your game.
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay to like not good games. There's plenty of not good games I like Army
I
Man.
I could see somebody, if that was your introduction to Yoshi, I'm sure that you enjoy it. But yeah, there's games on the DS, 3DS, Wii U, and Switch that are much better.
Oh yeah, and then of course the original.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, if you haven't played this game, definitely play it. You can see where we're getting all these bad jokes coming from out of my face here. Like it was fantastic. But Wiz, thank you so much again for joining me tonight. Um, really appreciate it. These Game of the Month discussions are some of my favorite things that we do here these days. So again, just appreciate you being a part of it and everyone else that's been a part of it over the last 7 months now. This is crazy. Um, so we'll do a discussion in Discord talking about what our February Game of the Month's going to be. I'm leaning towards something Metal Gear related personally, so we'll have to
Yeah.
see what's going on. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. Wiz, thank you again. Um, and I guess we'll just see you all back next month for whatever game we decide to do in Discord. And if you want to be a part of it, join the Discord, pop into the Game of the Month section, and just come hang out with us as we go through a bunch of community selected games. So, till next time, everybody.